Stock of the day, thought we'd look at Medibank Private. They, of course, reported today. Insurer seeing profit slide 10.7% to around 394 million. Operating profits, premium revenues lifted 10 and 2.7% respectively. Also a 7.3 cent dividend to shareholders. Looking ahead, Medibank says there may be a modest decline in policyholder growth at FY23 as industry participation slumps, but net claims will likely be on the up. For all the details, Chief Executive David Koskar joined us. David, just run us through the result.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Look, despite the challenging circumstances, we've delivered a very strong result today. Some of the features, top line policyholder growth of 3.2%. We've maintained strong vigilance on our costs, and actually in the last 5 years taken out $100 million of our cost base. And in addition, 45% growth in our Medibank Health segment. All of which drove a 12.5% growth in our operating earnings. So, focusing on our customers, keeping discipline about how we run our business and expanding our role in health is paying dividends.
What about the age profile of customers going forward? That's analysts really look towards that, don't they, when they're comparing you to, say, NIB?
Yeah, well, look, at an industry level, the pandemic has really changed the way people are looking at their health and well-being. It's now absolutely a priority and, in fact, not discretionary. In the last couple of years, we've seen record growth in the market. And, in fact, last 2 years, lowest lapse rates in the market in 10 years. But for us, we're outperforming that growth with Medibank and AHM brands, and both are contributing to our outperformance in the market. In the last year, we saw 70% of our new joiners as new to industry and customers under 40. So, wow. We're doing actually very well in the younger segment. Last year, we've driven even more distribution directly, and now 80% of our new joins join either Medibank or AHM directly.
Okay, all right, that's really impressive. What about the fact that you're such high profile with your premiums? Depends on government approval to get them through. Are you being able to keep pace with premium rises?
Well, look, I think we're all on the same page here. We want to keep pressure on premiums as low as we can to sustain a strong private health industry. And a strong private health industry takes the pressure off the public system. The previous government, that was their focus, and same with the current government, and same with us. I mean, what's important to consumers and our customers is that they have access to affordable health insurance that gives them choice and control over their health, and that remains absolutely our focus. We need to make sure we continue to be vigilant on our costs, but also the costs in the health system. And we've been, as an industry, focused on removing unnecessary costs, but also driving productivity in health, which unfortunately lags other industries.
Okay, higher interest rates, how will that benefit?
Well, look, I think we rewind, 5 or 6 years ago, we had premium increases as an industry in the 5s, wage growth was in the 2s, and we had a relatively higher unemployment rate. Going forward, we've got actually very different conditions. We've got lower premium increases. We've got wage growth coming up, and we've got record levels of employment. So I think the conditions for growth are strong. But we've got to remain vigilant on reform, vigilant on costs, and delivering for consumers. And I think there's absolutely more we can do, and what we are doing, to focus on prevention, to focus on investing in things like home care, short stay, telehealth, that can drive more efficient quality health outcomes for less. And we're very pleased to see that our investments with our partners, with our doctors and hospital groups are becoming more the norm in the future, and that's what we've got to keep working on.
Right, and keeping those medical costs and advances in new technology, the cost of that down going forward. So you've got inputs that are more expensive and controls on your premiums. You're really caught in a sandwich there.
Well, there are some inputs that are more expensive, but then there are ways to deliver healthy quality care that are actually more efficient. You take
Fair point.
Australia and things like the adoption of the short stay model. In mature countries around the world, 30-40% of hip and knee replacements are done either same day or with a couple of days stay in hospital. In Australia, it's less than 1%.
Right.
So if we can drive change, which is actually happening, a recent report we did said that we can save around 217,000 bed nights in the country by just delivering quality care in a different way.
Yep.
So it's not just about the input costs, it's about driving productivity, and we'll keep focusing on both.
That is a really fair point. Thank you so much for running us through the results. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Koshi.
All right. What do we think, guys? Medibank Private?
Yeah, I think certainly that question around that age issue, because the younger generation don't think that they need health insurance.
But they're pretty good results. Stats that it was.
Yeah, and I think
really
the market
not fair.
will look through the softness in those investment earnings to sort of look towards what they're going to do next year and things like that. But for me, policyholder growth 2.7% with a modest decline coming through. They're still got to work pretty hard, I reckon, to keep that stock moving higher.
Would you be in it?
I'm a seller.
Okay.
I think it's a holder. I think it's a pretty solid result in a difficult environment. Look, I think it's one of these stocks that you can sleep very well at night. You're probably not going to blow you're not going to make a lot of money in it, but it'll pay a nice dividend. That dividend should grow. I've always thought good management, and the previous CEO did a really great job, I think, coming out of government. So maybe never got the sort of the benefits that you often do see companies that get floated out by government. They have this like real run just because they run so much more efficiently.
Yeah.
That didn't seem quite to happen with Medibank, but it as you were saying, it's a tricky industry where you've got a lot of different competing pressures.
You can't set the price.
You can't set the price.
Government's setting the price for you.
And you've got to deal with the private hospitals who are, like we've seen with Bupa, they've just gone through a big dispute with Ramsay.
Yeah.
But look at, he was saying the cost, and everyone goes, the cost of medical treatment's going up. And he goes, the number of hip and knee replacements that you're only in a hospital for the day overseas.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, we've got a long way to catch up, so you cut the bed nights down.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that sort of stuff.
No.
So it was interesting. All right, a hold and a sell.